I invite Mr. Somnath Roy. He presents us sustainable tourism and its contribution to the mountain ecosystem. Mr. Somnath Roy is currently undergoing a lot of courses on mountain conservation to improve the condition of mountain ecosystems in Lesser Himalayan region. Please go ahead, the stage is yours.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Please press F5 or an icon situated in bottom of your screen to see all your screen.
Yeah, I have already pressed F5.
Now it's wonderful, please.
Okay, today I'm going to discuss about sustainable tourism and how we have implemented the same in the Lesser Himalayan region. Although I do not actually stay permanently there, I stay around 500 kilometers from that particular place where we have implemented certain aspects of sustainable tourism. This place mostly covers the Lesser Himalayan region, including the districts of Darjeeling, Kalimpong, and adjoining parts of Sikkim. We have implemented certain aspects of sustainable tourism with the help of local NGO, that is Darjeeling Conservation and Sustainable for Natural Resource. So let me just go through what we have done so far. Sustainable tourism basically refers to the principles and the practices that are applied to conserve the region and the local community. Now, sustainable tourism can be practiced both by the tour operators, tourists, as well as the government and the local people. So we, with the help of the local NGO, have created certain tourism depots to help and accommodate tourists coming from different parts of the world, because these are tourist locations and people do not have a proper living, like they depend mostly on tourism and agriculture for a living. They do not have jobs like us, and they struggle in every aspect of life. So it was our responsibility to help them out and create avenues for income, and thereby helping them lead a useful life. So we created certain tourism depots and bridged our relationship with the tour operators who are present there, and created a source of income for people who are in dire circumstances. These people are mostly youth. They are of the age of 18 to they're mostly of the age of 18 to 30 years, and they do not have any proper income source for their family as well as for themselves. So we developed this form of sustainable tourism and help them out to build out better lifestyle and help their family. Now, what we have done as a part of sustainable tourism is not only we have bridged relationship with the tour operators as well as the DMCs, we have also introduced homestays in those regions uh, without the help with the help of fuel efficient solutions like solar batteries and power, where we have got rid of pollution levels and other standards. We have also advised them to encourage tourists to use water filters and not to use plastic water bottles and fuel efficient cars and vehicles, like those cars and vehicles that are mostly operated by battery. So those vehicles are also running in those particular regions to get rid of pollution standards. Thereby, it has helped also to check on the air quality on the surrounding environment, because air quality has improved, and we are getting fresh oxygen that we normally do not get in high-tech cities and places which are covered, which are a lot of vehicles and other uh, vehicles and other means of communicate, other means of transportation actually operate. So in these regions, we have established the battery cars and the other fuel efficient methods of transportation to help out tourists and plan their travel to these holiday destinations. We have also encouraged people to plant a lot of plants in these regions, including flowers and other plants that can support the environment and give a better life to the people. People have planted their own gardens, and we have encouraged them to do so. They have also, we have also encouraged the operation of cars which are operated by batteries, as I said earlier, in places which are actually tea estates, or where there are food manufacturing processing plants, where we have a lot of strawberry estates as well as tea estates in those areas. So in those areas, we have made sure that all such transportation to those estates and factories are being carried out in fuel efficient cars. And we have also ensured that, as I said earlier, we have encouraged every individual to plant as many plants as well as other things to support the environment and live a healthier and happy life. Now we come to ecotourism. Ecotourism is something which is actually a part of sustainable tourism. It is not separate from sustainable tourism. So ecotourism has been established in areas which are undisturbed and natural. Like I said earlier, like the tea estates as well as the estates which are mostly involving food manufacturing, like oranges, strawberries, and blueberries, these kind of plantations. So in those areas, we have implemented ecotourism, and we have ensured that fuel efficient cars are operating in those areas. And the homestays which are there in these areas, these particular regions, are also being using these practices and following these good practices, so that we are getting rid of the harmful effects of pollution, which are important means to combat the pollution and its harmful effects. Also, afforestation policies have been introduced by the government. So that is a separate part. The government has taken a huge part in including afforestation policies and prevent cutting of trees, because the place where we have implemented these things, these places are close to around 6,500 to 7,000 feet. So we need proper transportation from the ground level to reach those places and implement the same. So it has not been an easy task for all of us. So it has been a difficult task over the past 2 years. As I said, the government has also taken a lot of initiatives to include afforestation policies in these areas. So overall, these areas have benefited a lot after we have implemented these solutions with the help of the local NGO. The tour operators have also improved, like they have stopped running cars on a daily basis, and they are running cars only when it is required, only when they have tourists in those particular regions, because due to the COVID effect, a lot of tourism has been affected in the area. Tourism has been greatly affected since the past 1.5 years. So these people have suffered a lot. But nowadays, tourism has begun to actually revamp, and like it has increased compared to before. And we are seeing tourists from all over the world, and these people are also getting a good chance to earn a livelihood from this practice. The undisturbed natural areas, as I was talking out, mainly the tea gardens and the estates where we have the orange plantations and the strawberry plantations. In these areas also, we are maintaining very good hygiene. so that all the food manufacturing units and everything, the storage where actually these food things are kept, actually these are also kept clean, and we are ensuring that proper hygiene and sanitation is maintained in these industries, because a lot of people are visiting these factories and estates from different corners of the world, because we do not get to see such views in high-tech cities or places which are covered with a lot of people and those things. So here the population is not that much, the population is less. So that's why people have constructed the people or industrialists have constructed their own factories and gardens, where we see a lot of strawberries, blueberries, and tea being manufactured in this part of the country. We have made sure the storage units are proper, the storage units are adequate, and the proper sanitation and hygiene is maintained in these areas.
The conclusion, please.
Yes. Also, the government has taken a lot of initiatives to set up remote sensing data as well as drones to combat animal trafficking and use of illegal sale of animal skin. So these things have been taken care by the local government. As I said, we do have a lot of gardens and greenery in this part of the country, as it is close to almost 7,000 feet above sea level. So proper people are also being hired and trained in this particular area so that it can actually generate a source of income for them. And we are also doing some kind of upliftment for the tribal and the rural parts of the society, where these people are being trained in certain areas to develop and manufacture sustainable and eco-friendly products. So overall, over the last 2 years, we have achieved a lot. We have helped the local people in creating a source of livelihood in these regions where there is a lack of transportation and communication and proper growth. So with the help of the local NGO, we have succeeded, and we have been able to help more than 50,000 people living in this area with the jobs that can sustain their livelihood and income. So thank you, and that is all I had to share today.
Thank you very much. I saw that Dr. Yuri